Well, welcome back to another assembly video. Today we're making our fan palm tree, and this is a layered piece. It's basically a decor piece, perfect for any room that has a beachy or tropical theme. This one complements another one that's over there. I wish I had it here so I could show you. But anyway, it's very simple, and for those of you that are used to our sculptures, this is kind of like that, except we're not really sculpting anything, just layering pieces, and it's very simple. So let's just jump right in here and move this out of the way. Your download and your cutouts are going to come with this little piece here. Okay, and this little piece is essentially a little guide so that when we put our first layer in place, we get it nice and centered. Now this piece here that I have on my surface right now, this is a full 12 by 12 sheet of cardstock. No cutting involved. You just pick the color that you want to act as a background, and we'll get going here. So you take this little piece and pop it in the corner so that it's nice and flush with the top and one of the sides. And I'm using a nice fine tipped marker, and I'm just going to draw in the little L, or just the inner part of this little piece here. So essentially it turns into a little L, or a half of a square basically. So I'm going to go over to this side as well, and you can do all four if you want. Sometimes, just like for those of you that use a silhouette, it's kind of like a registration mark. You can get away with using 3. I'm going to do just 3 this time, I think. I think that's good enough. Okay, so there's our little markers. That's going to help us put the first layer in place. So once you're done with this, hold on to this, and I'll show you why. But anyway, we're going to start off with this piece here. So find this piece. This is the top here. These little parts of our palm tree, these are supposed to be angled or pointing up. So you know that that's the top, that's the bottom. And we're literally just going to glue this down right onto this piece and try to get it within the parameters of the little markers that we just created. Okay, so let's make sure our glue is flowing, and we're going to begin. On the last one, I kind of took a similar approach where I did the perimeter first, just to make sure that that is nice and secure, and then just added, especially on these larger, less detailed pieces, just a little bit of glue in the interior there so that it doesn't go flopping around everywhere. But I think you could probably just get away with doing the perimeter, and that would be just fine. Now with this one here, we do have a few little details, these little guys here, so we do want to get some glue there, and then just maybe a little here and there. Okay, so grab this, and again, using those markers, get that nice and aligned with those markers so that you get it nice and centered. And that should do it. Now also, despite the fact that we have these markers, we also just want to take a look at it visually and just make sure that it does in fact look nice and centered. Now I see here that needs to be nudged up just a tiny bit. And this is a great time, if you have one, excuse me, to use a brayer to help you kind of cover more surface area when you're pushing this down into place. Works very nicely. If you don't have one, it's okay. You can just use your hand. Just like this, because there are some little details here. If you're using your hand, you might kind of snag it a little bit and, whack it out of place. And this makes it nice and keeps the, any grease or anything you might have on your hands off of the paper as well. Okay, so that looks pretty spot on. Now remember this piece here? Okay, we're going to use this I'm just throwing a little bit of glue right on the end of it. And if you have any little areas that maybe didn't get enough glue and aren't sitting completely flat, just throw a little bit of glue on there, paint a little extra glue right underneath the area that might need it, and then just press down, give that little section a little extra TLC, and again, just kind of go around, check your work, make sure everything is making good contact I've got this little area here. This whole corner didn't even stay down. Now again, it's okay, it's normal. We've got a lot of surface area here to cover, and it's very, it's kind of expected that you're not going to get everything glued down perfectly the first time, but that seems to work okay. Looks good so far. So on to the next layer, which is this piece here. So locate this piece, and literally this is going to go right on top of the previous piece. Okay, so this one again, this one has enough surface area and lacks these tiny little details. So we're just going to do the same thing. We're just going to kind of go around the perimeter first. Get our glue around the perimeter. Just work that perimeter. And I went from a squiggly to a straight line, and that's fine. Whatever floats your boat, whatever feels good. Just as long as we have enough of these little areas of glue to keep everything intact. And try to work quickly. Don't put way too much glue on here. For this little area here, I would just use little dots, not too big, just to keep them from moving around too much. That looks good. So I'm going to focus my gaze on this little area down here. When I place this, make sure that that's aligned, and then also these little sections here, I want to make sure that these are nice and aligned, and everything else should just kind of fall into place. Grab your brayer, start immediately pushing down and getting that glue to make contact with the previous layer before it dries too much, and then we have to go in and fix it. Okay, work that perimeter. That's probably the most important. And I think I did a better job on this layer now. Let me take a look here. Oh yeah, look at that. Okay, cool. That was easy. All right, next layer is this guy here. So find this layer here. You can easily identify it by this thin little area here, and then just, well, actually nothing up here. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing with this layer, in that we're going to prioritize the perimeter and just do a little bit of gluing inside. You don't have to get every single inch of it. And I did mention on the last one that if you want, you can use like a spray adhesive on this if you really want to. Just make sure that it's repositionable and that you have a little bit of time before it really takes. Otherwise, I've tried repositionable glue on projects with a lot of detail like this, and if you don't get it right, it does not forgive at all, and it can create a mess. Make sure that you get a few little dots of glue on these thin little areas here, and I'm going to again focus on initially these little cutouts down here and getting those aligned correctly. And then the thin little green areas is my next area of focus with my eyes, and then everything else literally just snaps into place. Okay, grab your brayer if you have one. If not, just use your hands to push that down into place. Nice and easy. There we go. And I can tell that I may need to touch up that little top part there. And that's okay. I think I am seeing a little bit of a gap there, even from my vantage point. No, actually I'm not. That looks good. Okay, 3 down, 3 to go. And they are going to start to get a little more wobbly and wonky. But with this one, again, I am going to do the same thing. I'm going to prioritize the exterior, the perimeter, I should say, and then work my way to the inside. Okay, just get it into as many little areas as you can. And then we're going to focus a little bit on the little details that are kind of hanging there, which again is these guys here. So I would just do little dots in a few sections there, maybe there, hit that with some glue here and there, again, we can always go back in and do some of our painting touch-ups. And I'm going to focus on this area down here again as I put this down initially to make sure that that all lines up. And then the little thin details there in the center again, whoops. And then everything else should, again, just kind of fall into place. Just kind of scan it with your eyes. And press that down, grab that brayer or use your hands, whatever you want to do. And there we go. Very simple. Real quick project if you maybe have a friend or someone that is having a housewarming, or anyone that loves the beach, anything tropical, someone that's a fan of Hawaii or Florida. It's a cute little gift that you can give them. I'm just checking my work up here. Everything looks good. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So you can see that we don't need to cake this with glue. The tiny little bits, they pull a lot of weight. Okay, so this is the next piece here. And now this piece, well, we're going to do this one in stages. We're going to kind of cut it in half. Not literally, but... And I think what we're going to do is we're going to start at the top first. Okay, so put glue on just the top half. I would kind of start here. Okay, and again on this side, and about halfway down, and get some of that glue onto these little bursts here, these little triangles, so that they don't go moving around too much. Like that. Fill in some of these areas here. That's good enough. And let's bring this over here. I'm going to stand up. This might make it easier. Just line it up with the top. Try to get it flush with the top. Just drop it in. And get that nice and aligned. Take a look. Well, that actually moved a little bit too much for me. There we go. Perfect. Okay, we'll press that down, grab a brayer. So just the top half of this is glued down. Makes it easier to work with larger pieces like this. Well, it's the same size, it's just that there's a lot more detail, and I don't want to mess it up. So now that we've got that half glued down, we can peel this back very gently, and we'll do the other half. And just get some of that glue, especially in this area here. It's kind of a loose section. We want that to hold nice and firm, just like that. And then grab some glue, the rest of these areas here. Perfect. And now the cool thing is, since we already have it anchored at the top, we should just be able to drop it right into position, just like that. And there we go. Perfect. All right, grab that brayer, press down, nice and easy. Go easy on the paper here. There we go. Got a little glue shoot out there. Wipe that off before it leaves that shiny residue. Looks good. All right, so that looks really cool. And that just leaves one more layer. And that's this guy here. He's going right here. As you can see, literally just lining it up with the top again. So with this one, again, we're going to break this down into half. So I'm going to start here, about halfway down, do the perimeter, work that edge, stop about there, and get my glue into these little nooks and crannies here, these little triangles. Get that. There we go. I'm just kind of fill in any other little gaps here that might need a little glue. I think that's fine. And I'm going to drop that right up on top, just making sure that we get it nice and aligned with the previous layers. And got a little bit of glue shoot out there, but not the end of the world. I'm going to rub that off before it completely sets. And there we go. Okay, so that's looking sharp. me take a look at that from a different vantage point. Yeah, all right. I'm happy with that. Okay, so now all we need to do is peel back this other half and just finish it up. Get that all the way down, and then just work these little areas here, especially this one that's kind of a little more dangly. There we go. There we go, perfect. And since it's anchored, it should just fall right into place. Let me just make sure. Just be careful. Should just kind of fall right into place. There we go. That looks nice. And there we go. So that was not really that bad. Okay, well there you have it. So that's really it. Again, check your work. Check out the perimeter here. Make sure that everything is sitting nice and flush, that nothing's popping up too much. And I'm gonna say that one's done. So we're ready to pop this thing into a frame. And I got my shadow boxes at Michael's. I went to Hobby Lobby. They were completely out, but Michael's had some, so that was nice. And I had a 20% off coupon that I used. We'll just pop that right into our frame. There we go. Close her up. Close these guys. And let's take a look at the final result here. Oh, there you have it. Okay, beautiful. Beautiful little piece, very simple. Great little gift or a piece of home decor for yourself or a friend. Either way, very easy, very quick, just a bunch of layering. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please take a moment and visit our YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button while you're there. Hit the little bell so that you get notifications anytime we release a new video for either a free or paid product or one of our educational tutorials. And if you make this or anything from our new bundle, I'd love to see it, and so would the rest of our dreamers. So head on over to your Facebook and do a search for Dreaming Tree Group, or you can type in this little URL that's going to come up at the bottom of your screen. And join us. We'd love to see what you've been working on. But either way, appreciate you hanging out with me, and I look forward to crafting with you again